Alright, Ghana, I greet you all. Once again, my name is Michael Makati, popularly known as K, the good farmer. Yeah, trust me, in today's video, you will really enjoy it. Previously, we talked about the three major aspects of grass cutter farming. The best farm practice, the hazard control, and the reproduction biology of grass cutter. You know, in grass cutter farming, there are a lot of questions to answer, or let me say, there are a lot of things to know as a grass cutter farmer. Yes, so let me go straight to the point. You know, apart from the things you are supposed to know as a grass cutter farming, these three major aspects, when you know these three major aspects of grass cutter farming, trust me, you are good to go. Now, the main problem in grass cutter farming is the reproductive system, or the production biology of grass cutter. You know, that place is a bit crucial because the whole farm depends on it. How your farm will grow, it depends on how you produce your grass cutter. And I know a lot of farmers face a lot of challenges in reproducing their grass cutter. Yeah. Now in this video, we'll talk about the reproduction biology of grass cutter. Now let me ask you these questions. When does a grass cutter come on heat? What are the signs involved in ostrus periods, or when the grass cutter is in heat? What are the signs you see? And when is the grass cutter mature to be crossed? You know, apart from that, you also have to know how to pair them, the types of mating, and a lot of things to know. You know, generally in reproduction in grass cutter farming involves 5 stages. These are the stages. The first stage is the mating or pairing, or picking the female to the male. The second is the signs of crossed females. The third is pregnancy test or signs of pregnancy. The fourth is parturition, and the fifth is the weaning stage. Yeah, so these are the 5 stages in reproduction in grass cutter. Now, there are several questions to be answered. Are you ready? First question: when is the grass cutter ready to be mated or to be crossed? The second question is: what are the signs involved in ostrus or heat period in the grass cutter farming? Also, you have to know how to choose compatible males that will be able to cross the females. Also, you have to know when the male is ready to be crossed, or when the male is ready to cross the female. And another question is also that, is the male supposed to go to the female, or the female to the male? Why, and the disadvantages and advantages of that? Generally, a female grass cutter is ready to be serviced around 5 to 7 months with an average weight of 1.7 to 2.5 kg. And the male too is supposed to be ready for crossing around 6 months to 8 months. But it is very advisable to cross the female with a bigger male. That means the male to be used to cross the female, the male should be a bit bigger than the female and a bit heavier than the female. Yes, that's the best way. Now, these are some of the signs of heat period or ostrus in grass cutter farm. 1, sometimes the female becomes restless. Secondly, when they are in groups, you see the female trying to climb other females. And also, sometimes when there is a male close to the female, you see that the female tries to go to the male, meaning it is on heat. Sometimes too, when you pick the female by the tail, you realize that the vulva is open, sometimes a bit wet. So let's go straight to the types of mating. These are the types of mating. We have 2 types of mating: the permanent mating and the temporary mating. The permanent mating involves the farmer introducing the female to the male, and they stay forever, or they stay together for a while, probably for some few years. So in this type of mating, whenever the female gives birth, the babies are taken out when they reach the weaning stage. So they stay permanently. That is why it says this is the permanent type of mating. With the temporary type of mating too, the female is introduced to the female is introduced to the male, and when it has been serviced, it is taken out. That is the temporary type of mating. Now, which of them is the best? It all depends. When you have very good male, you can practice the permanent mating. But for the meantime, you can still practice the temporary mating. That is when you are experienced enough you are able to detect that the animal has been crossed. You see the various signs of crossing of the female grass cutter, and you are able to detect whether it is pregnant. Then you can practice the temporal mating. So now let's talk about the post-mating signs and the pregnancy test. How to test if the grass cutter is pregnant. Follow me. What are some of the signs of the post-mating? Post-mating simply means that when you take the grass cutter to the mill, what are some of the signs you will see around the grass cutter that will show that it has been crossed or it has been serviced? Now, normally when you pick a grass cutter, a female grass cutter to the mill, during the time of crossing, you realize that the female gets some bruises around the ribs, or sometimes it gets some cut under the eye. When you see that sign there, it is some of the signs of post-mating in grass cutter. So apart from that too, sometimes when you take the grass cutter to the mill for crossing, when you pick it back after some few weeks, you realize that the female tries to discharge some blood. Yeah, that is termed as intimate bleeding. Yeah. So when you see that sign too, it is also a sign of post-mating. Yeah. So friends and family, so now how do you test the pregnancy in grass cutter, or how will you know if your grass cutter is pregnant? There are several ways to know. Now, number one, when you want to know your grass cutter is pregnant, just as we said, the intimate vaginal bleeding should be your number one. When you pick the grass cutter to the female, after picking it back, when you realize the conjunction or the vulvar conjunction, that is when the male has penetrated. When you pick the grass cutter by the tail, you realize that the vulva is widely open and very wet. Let me show you. For example, we crossed this grass cutter, took it out from the mill just yesterday. This is what I realized. If you can see very clear. So you realize that the vulva is open, very wide and very wet. Yeah, so when I saw this sign, I took it out from the mill, which means that it has been serviced. Yeah. So now let's also talk about the cutting method. This is what you do after crossing, or after seeing the post-mating signs. You can pick a cotton and then try to insert it into the vulva or into the vagina. That is when it is closed. You realize that when you pick it out, it changes color to sometimes reddish or brownish. It can also tell that the grass cutter is pregnant. Now let me say this one there is very clear. After crossing the grass cutter female, that is after 3 months time, you realize that the belly begins to shoot out. Let me show you this one. You can see very clear from this animal, it's just 3 to 4 months pregnancy, and you can see how the belly are shot up and the breasts are also out. Yeah, this is also a sign of pregnancy, and this is very clear. The same to this one too. This one is also just 3 months pregnant. You realize that the belly is up and the breast is also shooting up. This will also tell you that your grass cutter is confirmed pregnant. Yeah, so there we go. So when you want to know more about grass cutter farming, you know what to do. Help me to help you. Like, comment and subscribe to my channel. We've talked about a lot. We want to go straight to the main point. Now, we have an experiment that was conducted by the University of Ghana, that's Legon. So I'll like to put it on board, then we'll discuss about it. Yeah, so let's look at the picture.
Yeah, so there we go. That is a very good experiment, and we are going to learn a lot from it. Now, when we look very close in the picture or the experiment presented in the table, we realize that out of the 34 females that were chosen for the crossing, 31 of them manifested the ostrich cycle. That was when they were taken to the male. So we can see that at the first column. And at the second column too, the status of the vaginal membrane at the time of pairing. This means that before the females were taken to the male, some of them, their vulva was open, others was closed, and others too was sealed. But at the end, they all took seed. Yeah. So let's go to the next column. The next column also tells us about the duration of the pairing. This means that some of the females stayed with the male for long, others too stayed for a while. Yeah, so when we look very close, we realize that some of them stayed with the male for a day, others two, others three, 6 days. I think the maximum was about 14 days. That's about 2 weeks. Yeah. The next column also talks about the gestation length, that is the time of mating to the time of birth. It also varies from one to the other. The other is the litter size, the average weight, and the last, the average weaning weight. So what can we deduce from this result, or what can we say about this result? We can clearly say that one, every farmer is supposed to know when his or grass cutter are on heat, when they show signs of pregnancy, and the parturition signs, or the signs they show when they are due to give birth. Yeah. It also means that every grass cutter can be mated whenever time convenience to the farmer, without reference to the ostrich cycle. This is because when we look very close to the second column, we realize that some of the grass cutters, their vulva was open, others too was closed, and others too was sealed. So we can pair grass cutters whenever the vulva is open, sealed, or closed. I think this is very, very, very good. This is also because we can say that grass cutters are self-ovulators or induced ovulated, which means that they are able to release eggs at any time present with a male. Yeah. What about the permanent mating and temporal mating? We can say that the permanent mating can be discontinuous or can be avoided, since the practice sometimes results in cannibalism, and we can boldly or firmly say that the couples could be paired for about 2 to 4 weeks and separated afterwards. Yeah, we've learned a lot from the diagram or the experiment. It has shown us that every farmer is supposed to know when a female has successfully been crossed, when the female is pregnant, and when it is time for parturition, or when the delivery is due. Let's talk about weaning too. From the diagram, we can also clearly say that grass cutters can be weaned as early as 4 to 6 weeks, depending on so many factors. Sometimes we look at the situation of the mother, sometimes the litter size too. But basically, when every farmer weans grass cutters within 4 to 6 weeks, it means that the grass cutter is expected, or the grass cutter can give 2 times in a year. This also means that when you delay in weaning your grass cutters, it is unfortunate that you may not end up getting 2 liters in a year.
Yeah, so how do we conclude? We can say that one, the grass cutters are self-ovulators, or they are induced ovulators, or they are spontaneous ovulators, which means that they are able to produce eggs, or they are able to release eggs in the presence of the male. Yes, that is why they are termed as self-ovulators. So they can be bred all year round. That is one advantage of grass cutter farming, and it's very wonderful. Unlike rabbits or dogs that have to be that weight, or that produce eggs when they are on heat. Grass cutters are not like that. Anytime they are released to them with them to the male, they are able to produce eggs, meaning that they can be serviced at any time, all year round. They can be mated, or they can be serviced to produce more. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know there are a lot of questions to know. So for now, this is what I have for you. But there's one big question: What if your male grass cutter is becoming stubborn? It always kills the females or beats the females when you want to cross it, or the female is not allowing the male to cross it. What do you have to do? Yes, so this is one question that we all have to know. So you have to help me to help you. Kindly give a comment, like and subscribe to my channel.